Hello everyone, in here we have our Carla Testbed. So let me just quickly go over the peripherals that we are using for this. We have a Meta Oculus 2 VR headset that we're gonna operate for the simulation as an option, following it with next level racing chair. Underneath the racing chair we have the motion platform that will create motion from the simulation that we are driving the car. In here we have a Logitech G29 steering wheel, the pedal and the shifter. The pedal we are using are the far right for the acceleration, the middle one is for the brake, and these are all connected to the PC right over here for the lab, for the test bed that we're using, as well as the 3 screens that we're going to be using for this simulation. So let me quickly go over how to get started with this. First things first, we want to make sure that all the devices and the drivers are connected. Therefore, we need to download these apps. Logitech G Hub will operate the steering wheel and the pedals and the shifter. So we just click and make sure that it recognizes our steering wheel right here. We can see there are keys and macros that we can adjust. We're using the default keys and macros, as well as the settings for the sensitivity and the operation range are set for 50, 920 for the central spring strength. You guys can adjust this as your preference, or you can leave it as is and it's fine, because there are many ways to change this. Next is to make sure that our motion platform works fine, so we need to execute the next level racing troubleshoot assistance. In here we're gonna have a menu of what we can execute here. We're gonna simply click 1 because we wanna run it normally. Now it's preparing, it's booting up, and here the chair started. In here we have a custom profile for our application for Carla. As you guys can see, we have adjusted the gain, the acceleration and braking for this application, tuned it down to certain values and parameters that the feedback response from the motion platform isn't too strong, that will make the driver pushed back or pushed to the front when they accelerate or brake. And then we can continue on accessing our simulation from the File Explorer. So in File Explorer we will navigate to our local disk C. In here everything is stored inside the workspace called WS. We are using Carla version 0.9.13 for this application, and in here we have our quickly shortcut executable batch files that we can just click and run the simulation, as well as the applications and the scripts that will allow us to drive the car. So to get started, I'm gonna just demonstrate how the default driving for Carla works. Simply just double click on the Carla default driving, and this will render the Carla. It will take some time because it's running the Unreal Engine. Now we have the map. We can see the map is rendered. It's a relatively small map, but it's good for a default. After some time, this default script will generate traffic that cars will be driving around. As you guys can see, we spawned 30 vehicles and 8 walkers in this map. We can simply take a look around and see the cars driving just normally. And now the script generated a API for the driving simulator that we're going to use to drive. So simply we're going to drag this file onto our main screen, place it in the center, and we can go ahead and sit down on the chair. Make sure the chair, you adjust the level based on your preference and height. Then on the steering wheel we have menu options. So pressing X will put the view of the car inside the car. As you guys can see on the left hand side, we have several information for us given. Whereas, for example, on the far top right, we have the server and the client, the frames per second that are displaying on our screen. The vehicle model we're using for this testbed is Tesla Model 3. The map name, the simulation time, speed, where we're hitting, location, etc. The level of throttle, steering, and the brake, as well as the number of vehicles and the nearby vehicles around us. So in order to get rid of this panel, we can just simply click B or turn it on, click it again. So I'm just gonna keep it on for now. Then slowly I can start driving. Now we have several other options in this default driving. If we press A, we're able to change the car, but the Tesla Model 3 is the default car, so it's not gonna work. If we press Y, we're changing the weather. So in here we have evening. Now we are night mode. Now it's a rainy weather. So we have a few options here. Now if we press this left gear button handle, we're able to go back. So rear mode is enabled with this shifter. And if we press it back, we're back to gear 1. The drive simulation drives automatically, so we're not using the shifter for this default application. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to connect the virtual reality headset to the simulation. So first things first, we need to make sure the Wi-Fi connected for the virtual reality is the same Wi-Fi connected to the PC. Once that's connected, we're simply gonna go to Meta Quest Link app, click. Right here. We have to create an account to start with. So for this testbed, I have created an account. Second thing we need to do, we need to link the device to the account, and it just goes through the process, connects to each other. We're using AirLink, so it's connecting through Wi-Fi. And we need to verify each other through a pairing code, and it's very simple. Once that's established, we can put the headset on. We're gonna use our controller. And in the headset, we're gonna go to the settings. Now, I can't show you guys how I'm looking at the screen, but I'm gonna explain step by step. We're gonna navigate, we're gonna click this button, settings button on the controller, and navigate to settings. Then we need to navigate to link. On there, we need to launch link. We click on launch, we select the desktop, AICPS, then we click on launch. So this will launch a link between my computer and the headset, and I have a menu in front of me. So in here, I have to select the desktop panel, and I'm gonna select the Pygame window. Now I am able to see the screen in front of me as my driving window. So using this, I can start driving. Simply, carefully, sit down. And one more thing to make sure, we need to click on the simulation window at all times. So we start driving, and I'm able to see the screen, view the screen in my virtual reality headset, as well as other people around me are able to also watch me drive in this simulation. So it gives a nice feature for people actually studying on how I'm driving when I'm driving with the headset, and it's not only me viewing the simulation this way. Now, you can just simply take this headset off, put it down, and close our window. We are gonna first close the simulator, navigate to the executable execution file, close that. We need to close these windows in order for me to show how to run this from scratch. Sometimes it bugs out and it doesn't close, so we need to navigate to Task Manager. See, it says not responding. We need to end the task from the Task Manager. Make sure it's closed. Then I'm gonna show how we can execute all of this step by step without having to go through the shortcut. So in the same folder in this PC, local C workspace Carla 0.9.13, we have these executables, right? We just ran the default driving. We have a low resolution driving for default. We have a default driving with the biometric belt. We have a default driving with the low resolution using the biometric belt, and the biometric belt we're using is Zephyr Bioharness 3. And we have a default driving with the 3 screen view. So I'm gonna show how that looks. Simply, we're gonna double click on the low screen view and wait for it to launch. As you guys can see, this rendering is lower resolution than the one before. And the reason we do this is because we wanna display the simulation on 3 screens, and the 3 screen display takes more rendering GPU from VRAM than the single display. That's why we need to balance things out by lowering the resolution so the simulation is smooth and not bulky. Here we are. We have a 3 screen display now. So we are viewing from the third person view, our car. The panel's on the left now. So I'm just gonna simply sit and click X to navigate inside the car. So on the left side, I have my mirror. On the right side, I have the side display. And now we can start driving. So this adds more realistic test bed for the drivers. It adds 2 more screens on the sides that we are more into the game. Our attention is more invested into the simulation than the single display. Oops, I crashed. Okay. Now, let's close this. We're gonna close everything. Again, sometimes the Carla, when you close, it doesn't respond. We need to go to Task Manager and end the task. Make sure the Task Manager, we end the task before we run another application on Carla because it will cause problems. This way we ensure that the execution is closed. Now, I'm gonna show how we can run these without actually going through clicking on the batch file. So we need to first open VS Code. But before that, I'm gonna show where the files are located. So inside the Windows No Editor, inside the same Carla 0.9.13 file, we have our custom APIs. So in custom APIs, we have all these files that we use for this testbed. For example, the manual control steering wheel operates the driving, the simulation that runs for us to drive. The generate traffic will generates the traffic, the auto generation for 30 cars and 8 walkers. Moreover, in here we have inside custom API, inside app Zephyr main, we have main.py that will run the biometrics script that will start recording our heart rate and stress level and display it on the screen. So these are all inside custom API. Now, the way we run this is we have to go open VS Code first. In here we have two workspaces. We have Carla 0.9.15 for the version 15 and for the version 13. We're gonna use version 13. Once opened, we need to run the terminal. And now we have to navigate to the folder. We are in Carla 0.9.13, so we need to navigate to Windows No Editor first. Then we need to navigate to custom API, right? And in here, we can open here and see so before all this, the most important step is run Carla. So running Carla inside the folder is just simply as navigating into the Windows No Editor first, then we type Carla Unreal Engine 4. Now, there are two flags for Carla Engine 4. The regular one without the flag will run the normal mid-level quality. The other one is we need to put a flag for quality equals low. This will run the low level quality. This is the flag. So let's just run the regular Carla. We'll just wait. We can see the Carla generated, and here we are. This is how we run Carla from the execution on VS Code. Once this is running, we need to create another terminal as we navigate it to the custom API. For example, we want to run the manual control steering wheel, right? So we just write Python manual control steering wheel. We run manual control steering wheel. So this will run, and now we are in the manual control mode. So this is how you navigate through the codes. There's more. You can even add generated traffic. You can do dynamic weather. You can do automatic control. There's many examples. The examples are explained in the report that is attached to the GitHub. But these are the basics on how to run this testbed. And thank you for watching. This is Puya.